Thanks for the introduction, Reese. Aubrey is upstairs with school. We're talking about the 90-90 position, and we're going to tie it into so mobility, flexibility here first, and we'll tie it into some rocking and a little bit of crawling like we did yesterday. So let's start with our right leg first. So right leg is forward, and we have about a 90-degree angle at the knee and about a 90-degree angle at the back knee. That's where the 90-90 comes from, okay? So the first thing about this is we want to talk about position. Our goal is to stretch the hips. So maybe your back feels tight. That's common. And even though we're not directly stretching the back, we're stretching the hips, which can help influence the back. So the hips have got to work well, be mobile, and be strong for your back to feel good and healthy. So a lot of times what we see here is people get in this position and they go right into flexion, rounding their spine. That's not what we're looking for here. You may be able to put your head in the ground, or you may feel a stretch, but it's not stretching what we want. So first thing first is I want to get super tall. I want my spine to be lengthened out all the way to the top of the crown of my head. Now, for some of us, this is the stretch. Just being in this position with good posture, you don't have to go anywhere else. You're going to feel that. For some of us, this hip back here is going to limit us as well. You're going to feel like you can't really be in this position. You're going to have to be leaning. That's okay. This is also being mobilized as well. So it is what it is. We got to deal with what we have. So assuming we can get in this good tall posture, that may be the first step. Okay, so I'm here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold from this crease right through my hips here. And I'm going to keep my head up. I'm going to bring my shoulders forward. And I got that nice long spine yet. Now the next thing that typically happens is people look down. When we look down, we're going to lose the curve of our spine, and we're going to start trending towards that kind of low back. Okay? So keep your head up on the horizon or even up. I'm going to keep lifting and moving into this stretch. So I'm targeting this right hip area. If you feel inner thigh, low back, stuff like that, that's fine. Let the position be itself. But just know we're trying to target our hip here, okay? So I'm going to breathe. Actually, I probably should have started off with just some deep diaphragmatic breaths first, because this is really about your breath. If you're here and you can't take nice, relaxing breaths, then we're not going to get much change, okay? So it's harder is not better, okay? I want to be able to breathe in this position. So I'm going to take 3 to 5 nice deep breaths in here. Try to feel some sort of change. Notice I still have that curve in my back. It's not rounded. So if I can move past this point, I'm going to turn into my hip. I'm going to move to the right. Okay? And here's where we can incorporate a bigger fascial line. What I'm going to do, I'm on my right hip. I'm going to come down to my right forearm. Okay? I have the ability to open up all of this through here. So I'm on my right forearm, and I'm going to use this leg. I'm going to walk it back a little further. So my glutes on this left side are engaged. Okay. Once again, I got a long spine. Now, this left hand starts on my pocket. Left glute is engaged and squeezed. I'm going to inhale through my nose with the tongue to the roof of my mouth as I reach up. And I'm trying to touch the ceiling. I am really trying to be as long as I can with that arm. And then I'm going to begin to exhale as I side bend and reach over my head. Okay, in line with my hip and my spine, I'm exhaling. And I'm going to go all the way down so my hand is on the floor. Now that my hand's on the floor, I'm going to take 2 or 3 another deep diaphragmatic breaths through my nose. I may feel stretch anywhere from my arm to my lat, through my tummy, through my hip, through my leg, any of that through there. So a couple breaths, and then I let my arms sweep back through. Start back at the starting line here. This glute is engaged. Breath in. Exhale and continue to reach. Try to always reach as far away from you as you can. Exhale into this. Okay. Spine is long. You can have your head look down here a little bit in this position. But most of the time we want to keep our head up at least a bit to keep our spine angle. And come back through. So I would do that 3 to 5 times. Okay, be in that position and try to feel some change. Okay, this back hip is going to be a problem for a lot of us, and what we're going to do right now is just work on moving the joint. So I'm just going to work on squeezing that glute, this left glute, and try to feel essentially your hips, your pelvis move forward. And you're beginning to just grease that joint up a bit and get some range of motion in there. So now that we've got some mobility in there, we got to program the nervous system, the core muscles, stuff like that to use it. So we're going to go into rocking, but a little bit more attention to detail of our spine position. So rocking is good, okay? Even if you're not really sure what you're doing, you're just going back and forth, it's good, but we can make it better. So just like if I'm going to go underneath load to pick up a child, a kettlebell or whatnot, I want to keep a arch in my back. So get to know your range of motion of your pelvis and your spine. Round your back, arch your back, round your back, arch your back. And my goal is to be able to keep a little bit of an arch through here. That way I can load my hip muscles and spare my back. Okay. So also think of it as an opportunity for like a spot for water to pool, like in a bird bath. It's not that deep, but it's just enough spot for water to pool. And I'm going to go ahead and rock back while maintaining that arch. So I have to use my tummy and bump into some of my hip mobility to keep this. Some of us may not have enough range of motion or flexibility. Some of us might not have enough stability to do this. But there's some range of motion you can do. What it will look like if you're failing or if we're not quite hitting it is you're going to start to see that. Now I feel that in my low back as a stretch, but I'm not targeting that right now. I want to keep the arch and distinguish the difference of moving through my hips versus moving through my lumbar spine. So head up. Most likely for certain, as soon as your head goes down, your back's going to follow. Okay, so keep your head up on the horizon and try to grease or feel that move through your hips. Another piece of feedback you can do is take a yoga block, a foam roller. See how this works on the spot here. All right, and I'm going to rock. This gives me some feedback how I'm doing with my arch. Am I maintaining it? Am I working through my hips while stabilizing my spine? Or am I rounding my back, losing the roller? Okay. So tie your breath into this. Do some exhaling. Keep your head up. And take up this information to learn from it. What does it feel like to move through your hips? This kind of reinstates some of that good movement that you worked on stretching out. So go ahead and work on that. You should feel better just in the fact that you're doing deep breathing for 5-10 minutes in these positions should make you feel more relaxed and hopefully more energized.